Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for January 25th, 2013. It's currently 8:46 a.m. And let me tell you all that if you're looking for an excellent weight loss program in less than 3 days, get a stomach flu. Trust me. It has not been fun, but thank you for all your concerns and tweets and Facebook posts of well wishes. I really appreciate it. So we're back, and much like last Monday, now on Friday, we're looking at another light snow event. Yes, it's a light snow event, not a major snowstorm, but certainly something to keep an eye on for this evening. Now, look at the temperatures right now. We're basically ranging from the single digits to the lower to mid teens throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, but keep an eye on these dew points. They're going to be really important as we move into this evening because one of the concerns I have with this forecast is once again our old friend Virga, which is basically dry air eating up all the snow falling from the clouds, limiting the potential for snowfall throughout the region. It's going to be a concern as long as we have this really cold Arctic air in place. So when we take a look at the latest radar, you can see plenty of snow here over the Ohio River Valley and portions of the Great Lakes down towards the Tennessee River Valley. And all of this is going to move towards the west, towards the east by this evening, producing periods of scattered snow showers and light snow over the Philadelphia metro, central southern New Jersey, and southeastern Long Island. As you head north of the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan areas, I think you're going to have a harder time seeing steady snowfall because the air is so much more drier. The reason why there's a focus along the coast is two reasons. One, a better thermal gradient, and it will be closer to the storm itself. And two, there's a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere as opposed to, let's say, Allentown, where you have dew points in the single digits or below zero by this afternoon. So that's one of the factors going into this forecast. When we take a look at the infrared satellite picture, you can see high pressure is shifting to the northeast and basically losing its control over the region. We'll have clouds increase throughout the day as part of this lifting starts to shift off the coast. Here's our main disturbance here. I'm going to show that in the water vapor very nicely. But you can see here we clearly have a split flow here with the polar/Arctic jet stream diving south and our subtropical jet stream remaining a non-factor, which has been a theme for much of this winter. So what can we expect with this disturbance? Well, here we have the water vapor satellite picture, and here's the main disturbance here, this area right here. What's going to happen is this disturbance drops towards the Delmarva Peninsula, spuns up a little bit of a low pressure system here, right to the southeast of, let's say, Atlantic City, and as it's redeveloping and organizing itself off of the Delmarva Peninsula, an area of light snow will develop over the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area. Not a heavy snow, but considering how cold it is, really won't take much to have some accumulation here. In fact, the first snowflakes will start to stick to the ground. That's what happens when it's 10 degrees out. And the other factor to go towards a little bit more snowfall accumulation is that it's so cold that the snow ratio is going to be pretty high. So if you get any type of moisture thrown into this cold air, it's going to produce a light to moderate snowfall. Thus, the forecast that I have in place. If you're in the northern interior, let's say in northwest New Jersey, the Hudson River Valley, much of Connecticut really, much of northeastern Pennsylvania and central eastern Pennsylvania, Allentown, Reading, really looking at a trace to an inch. Now, the reason why is that the radar is going to look great, but I think there's going to be so much dry air in place that, well, quite frankly, a lot of it is not going to reach the ground. Thus, a trace to an inch of snow, and that inch of snow is really because all you need is a burst from one moderate snow shower and you're going to get your inch of snow. Really isn't going to take much with this type of cold air in place. A little bit further to the south, basically the coast of Connecticut, the north shore of Long Island, northern portions of the New York City metro, down through Staten Island, and west central New Jersey over the Philadelphia metropolitan area, a trace to 2 inches. Again, this is not going to be an organized snow event. So you're going to have pockets where you're going to have dry air limiting the snowfall and other pockets where it's going to be snowing at a nice little clip. So some areas will literally in towns, in street to street, you have some areas that will just get a trace, and other areas that will get a nice little burst and pick up an inch or two. That's how erratic this snow threat is going to be. So again, looking for a trace to 2 inches of snow here. And then as you head towards the coast and over southern New Jersey, this is where you're going to have a little bit more moisture in the atmosphere. You're going to be a little bit closer to this developing low pressure system. Again, remaining with a trace to 3 inches plus. Now that sounds a little ambiguous, and I'm going to explain why. The trace is really to deal with the dry air. Okay, and we've dealt with this dry air. We've seen what it can do. We've also seen what happens when that dry air cap is broken and you get a moderate band of snowfall that develops right along the immediate coast, let's say from Freehold to coastal Monmouth, let's say Brick, Toms River, down towards Atlantic City, Cape May, on the south side of Long Island here. You get one band of moderate snow with temperatures in the upper teens. It really doesn't take much to have a nice little accumulation developing, and your trace to 2 inches quickly becomes, let's say, 4 inches or 5 inches. Not saying it's going to happen. It'd be incredibly rare and very isolated to see that happening. But in these type of situations, when you're dealing with Arctic air, you never, ever let your guard down. So keep an eye on that, especially for this evening. Looking for snowfall to develop between basically 3 p.m. to, let's say, about 10 p.m. For eastern Long Island, snow probably exit as far as the snow showers, flurries, everything by 2 a.m. If you're in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, your whole threat's done by 10 p.m. Midnight at the latest if you're worried about a flurry or two. And so pretty much this evening, the evening rush hour is going to be a bit of a mess. And considering it really doesn't take much snow to create some slick road conditions, please use some caution, take some time, and enjoy the nice scenery. This isn't a major snow event in any way, shape, or form. But again, with Arctic air, you don't need much moisture to cause a few little problems here and there, and a few spots where you get a burst of moderate to heavy snow out of nowhere, which is always a possibility when you're dealing with the ocean dynamics and mid-level disturbances and so on and so forth. So overall, a light snow event can be expected. So what about the rest of the weekend? Well, again, here's our European model guides from the Penn State UL website. Excellent website for all your model needs. And you can see this evening, here's our disturbance. We have plenty of moisture in the atmosphere. So here's our disturbance rapidly moving off the coast. Notice a lack of a subtropical disturbance trying to help this storm. Thus, the idea of a major storm developing just never really materialized because there's nothing really to phase with. More importantly, the pattern just really isn't conducive for it because this upper level low is a little bit too far north. As always with winter storms, the winter storms in the northern mid-Atlantic are, well, almost magical because almost everything has to come together just right to form your winter storm along the East Coast. That's why they're, well, almost newsworthy and news-breaking because they're so hard to come by. So here we are by Saturday. High pressure is going to be in control by tomorrow morning. Excellent weather conditions. Cold, definitely cold. Temperatures in the teens, low to single digits to lower teens for lows. The highs tomorrow are still going to be in the 20s. It's going to be a rather chilly day, that is for sure, and really a chilly weekend can be expected with dry conditions for the most part. Now, this high pressure system is going to shift off the coast, and that's going to allow us to warm up. Now, this warm up is going to be very brief and really is a result of one jet streak that shot across the Pacific. So the pattern goes slightly zonal for about a day or two. No, it's not the end of winter because winter's coming back with a vengeance, believe me. Because here we have on Monday and Tuesday, we have a warm-up, a very brief warm-up. Okay, this high pressure shifts off the coast. We warm up into the 40s, could actually hit 50 degrees on Wednesday. And the reason why is because we're going to be ahead of a cold front. Now, this cold front is going to blow through, looking for temperatures to peak in the late morning, early afternoon hours on Wednesday, pushing into the mid-40s, possibly a few lower 50s over southern New Jersey. Then that cold front goes through. Temperatures crash through the day, through the evening on Wednesday, falling into the 40s, 30s, potentially even the 20s. We're about to see just how strong this Arctic air mass is once again. And then here we are with our Arctic air mass in place for Thursday, and yes, also for Friday. And that means our temperatures fall back into the 30s and 20s once again. Keep an eye on this disturbance, okay? Some model guys suggest a storm, some suggest a mist. Again, once again, winter theme, do the disturbances phase? Does this phase with this right here? If they phase, big storm. If they don't, miss it to the south. Very simple. Let's not complicate this more than what it needs to be. The potential of these two phasing does increase because we have more favorable Pacific patterns setting up, which I'll talk about with my premium members in the long-range forecast discussion in just a few moments. But it's something that we're going to keep an eye on. Again, don't go into the details. Don't get overexcited. Yes, there's a potential for next weekend, but much like this week, the potential relies on exactly how these disturbances interact and how the timing of each disturbance falls in place. In other words, don't get ahead of yourself. Potential, yes, but not a guarantee. So, as you can see, winter continues. We remain on the chilly side. We have a brief warm-up for about a day or two, and then we head back into the freezer. Of course, you can follow the latest weather information, including what exactly is going to evolve with this disturbance this evening, on nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Of course, NYNJPA Weather is part of the Storm Surge LLC group. Be sure to visit us and check out the latest forecasts from a variety of different weather sources. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there.